Hello, everyone. This is Frontier Africa Report, and this is Energy Frontiers Conversation with the CEO of Heirs Energy, Osayande Igiehon. Thank you so much, Osa. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you, Butson. How you doing?
Thank you. Yeah, good. I'm good. It's the first time in the new year. Hope you're doing well.
Yes, I'm doing well. I'm looking forward to
Thank
a
you.
very impactful 2025.
I'm doing the same as well. I'm very hopeful. And one of the things I'm just seeing in the news, just to get this conversation started with you, was that Nigeria is now looking at about 2.7 million barrels per day as the production output for by the year 2027. You think this is realistic?
Yes, it is realistic. Several years ago, the aim was for us to get to 3 million barrels. And in the course of several years of decline, we couldn't aspire for that. So I do think that 2.7 is achievable. We have the potential to achieve that. We have the resource base. And I do think that with a purposeful collaboration across all stakeholders, we will be able to achieve it.
Yeah, S Energies, I'm sure you're part of the production growth outlook that all of you are bringing to the table. What are your thoughts around the milestones that have been reached so far, at least at S Energy?
Yeah, as you know, our asset, which we took over from the previous operator at a little bit of a share of just 27,000 barrels of oil per day, we have sustainably produced it now at well over 50 and I think 60,000. So I think we are the signpost of what is possible with the oil and gas industry in Nigeria. Onshore particularly has suffered from many years of inability to get the potential out. But since we took over our asset, we have worked in very many different areas, technically, security-wise, and with the communities, working better with the communities to increase our potential. And I think this is a case that can be replicated across onshore, particularly, yeah.
Yeah, I want to learn more about what further actions can be done to have Nigeria continues the upward trajectory in terms of output. We're coming from as low as 600,000 barrels per day 3-4 years ago. Now we're doing about 1.8 million barrels per day. We're targeting 2.7 million barrels per day. What further actions do you think should take place to keep us on this momentum that we've been able to put in place right now?
Yes. So if I recap, a few years ago we produced 2 million barrels of oil per day, or above 2 million barrels of oil per day, and we lost that to less than 1 million barrels of oil per day. All the ability to get back to 2 million is largely in place, but is locked in or held back by several factors. Some of it was pipeline, some of it was vandalized wellheads or vandalized facilities, some of it were aged facilities. So that is largely a restoration project. So with a purposeful restoration like we have done in Heirs Energies, we should be able to take the production back to around 2 million barrels. From that point is then greenfield to bring in new fields that will then bring in new production and also address any decline from the existing base. So I do think that it needs a coherent and coordinated program of both brownfield restoration and greenfield development to get to 2.7 million barrels and potentially beyond that.
What role, also, do you think divestments by IOCs to local operators, big names such as Heirs Energies, will contribute in helping to achieve this? Do you expect to see more of those divestments from onshore to offshore and local LOCs picking up those assets, helping us to ramp up and production from that front?
Yes, indeed. So thankfully, the big divestments have been sanctioned by government. So we see them going forth. And this is where large volumes are and where the opportunity to close the gap between potential within potential and production is. So with indigenous companies like ourselves and the others who are taking the asset, working together and working more aggressively, we will try to restore the production which has been lost or is locked in, and then lay the foundation for future investments. Mr. President has also provided a number of incentives to the oil industry through executive orders last year. And there are a number of them, and each one of them has an impact on either short-term, medium-term, or long-term production. It's very, very pivotal, those directives that were provided by Mr. President, and they're a key catalyst for an enabler for us attaining much higher production levels for the country.
Now that you touch on the Mr. President's President Tinubu's executive orders, do you think those executive orders are helping operators to streamline operations, boost investors' confidence, and all of that within your sector? Is that what we're seeing right now?
Yes, I think they are, and they will. I think in the short term, there are incentives around that aids execution for joint ventures. Those are already making impact on a day-to-day basis. In a joint venture is already making impact. And there are others which will make impact in, let's call it the longer term, the medium to longer term investments that need to be made. So overall, the directives are very positive. Of course, implementation is going to be a key decider on how much impact they will have. Yes.
Yeah, when you talk about implementation, we talk about the Petroleum Industry Act. Where are we on that? Some folks believe that we haven't really done much on that particular rule of engagement in the industry. It hasn't been able to catalyze the much needed size of investment so that we don't allow those investments to go to Angola, to go to other neighboring destinations.
Yeah, so I think the Petroleum Industry Act is very pivotal, and it's a huge catalyst for the industry, and it cuts across the whole swath of the industry. So some people may be looking at certain areas and saying they are not seeing enough, but it's not that there is no progress. There's progress in many areas. If you take one of the key areas, let me say communities, that has been one of the perennial issues that dogged our whole industry. And with the introduction of the HCDT, the Hydrocarbon Development Trust, that has provided a more reasonable platform to include and involve host communities, and it's providing us the impetus to now march forward in a more symbiotic manner with communities. That has a big impact on the way we do things, the operating environment and the security around the environments which we operate. There are many other areas that are being gradually transformed as a result of this law, and I think that overall there is progress. And in some areas, and within it, there's more progress in some areas than the others, but there is overall progress.
One of the biggest discussion right now is I'm sure you've seen oil prices with President Trump's tariffs firing on all fours, China, Mexico, targeting South Africa. Everyone is in President Trump's crosshairs as we speak right now. Oil prices dancing around since the weekend. So what's your take on where you think things are going? What do you think all these moves will mean for African producers such as Nigeria, and you have independents such as Heirs Energies? What would those mean? What should we expect? How are you reading the tea leaves of what President Trump is doing?
Yes. So there's a lot the new administration in America is confronting for their own country, but America being the lead in many areas in the world, whatever America does, and the world being so connected, it has reverberations all across. But when I look at the policies and the recent actions coming from the administration, I think the more pivotal one for the energy industry is the stand he has taken with respect to energy transition and energy as entirely energy security. By taking a firm stand to support hydrocarbon exploration and development, I think it puts to bear and brings to fore the conversation that has been raging around, is it the end of oil or not? So I think that existential clarity, that clarity on the existential purpose for oil is what is the biggest impact of his policies. That has a strategic impact. The other things that are going on, for me, has both tactical and operational impact. So there may be movements of oil price, but the future of oil as a resource, which is important for us in Nigeria and Africa, is more clear and more assured than before.
The conversation, of course, just very quickly, OPEC is sticking with its supply cuts and all that, pushing that into the first quarter of this year, and the rest of the cuts for among other members into 2026. The voluntary cost 2.2 million barrels going to the end of this. So I'm just looking at what's your guess as to what oil prices should be if you add the current salvos from the White House into the mix.
So, yeah, so oil prices as difficult to read, maybe more difficult to read than weather. So, I think, but the key is that both producers and consumers need to work and will work to find a price level where producers can produce and consumers can buy and fund their ecosystems without overheating the global economy. So I think there will always be that meeting of minds in that regard. So there will be actions from all players. So OPEC is a big bloc. US with its production levels is a big bloc. Russia is a bloc by itself, but also part of the OPEC plus. So there's a huge dynamic right now. And I think what we are seeing is a rebalancing of the power structure. And of course, oil is one of the key levers of power in the current global geopolitics and economic dynamics.
So oil is not going away anytime soon, at least perhaps maybe not in our lifetime. But here we go with the renewable energy. I'm sure you had one eye last week on the African Heads of State Energy Summit in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, when the issue of clean cooking, getting more renewable energy into the mix is concerned. Africa could lead that particular renewable energy because we've got hydro, we've got solar, we've got wind, Lake Turkana around there in Kenya. We've got a whole lot that we can bring to bear. So what does all of this mean for an energy company such as Heirs?
No, I think the premise that people have whenever they talk about renewables, they think it's a question of oil and gas or renewables. The reality is and Africa has
so it's not against, so it's not versus, so it's not fossil fuel versus renewable.
No, we need both. The gap we have is so large. It is estimated that over 600 million people in sub-Saharan Africa don't have access to power.
Exactly.
It is known that it is somewhere between 50% or thereabout of our energy needs are satisfied. Oil alone or fossil fuels alone cannot fill the gap, not quickly, and renewables alone cannot fill the gap. So we need both, and that's the core plank of the program we espouse, which is energy sufficiency for Africa, that requires both traditional fossil fuels and non-fossil fuels being renewables to come together to fill Africa's energy needs.
So that's our energy sufficiency for Africa. What will Heirs Energy be doing in that regard? Are you looking to join the renewable energy front as part of your portfolio? How much of that are we looking to see moving forward as part of your contribution to not just the fossil fuel, but to bring more clean energy into the mix to support Nigeria and be part of the global agenda for Africa, which is right now on the move, billions of dollars pouring into that? I'm sure you don't want to miss part of that money. Who do you?
Yes. No. So yes, indeed. No. So we are in it. We are an integrated energy business. At the group level, Heirs Holdings has an integrated energy play, and as you would know, we have through Heirs Energies a footing in upstream, and through Transcorp we have a footing in power generation. So, as part of that integrated energy play, we are looking to broaden our participation both within the value chain, all the way to renewables, and across geographies across Africa. So we are positioning ourselves to be one of the leading integrated energy companies in Nigeria and in Africa. And of course, renewables is going to be under our belt, as well as other aspects of the value chain.
Well, I found out, as we begin to wind down this conversation, Energy Frontiers conversation, I found out that your Heirs Energy is part of the going to be a major player at the SIPEC summit coming up in the next couple of coming up this month or so. So, tell me more about this.
Yeah, so SIPEC is a conference of that is hosted by PETAN. PETAN, in a nutshell, is the organization of service providers in the upstream sector, indigenous service providers. It has been going on this is their 30th, it's PETAN's 30th anniversary and SIPEC's 9th edition. And I'm billed as one of the lead speakers. And I think this conference provides a lot of avenues for operators and service providers to meet and collaborate, for us to see what's developing in that space, for us to see what we need to do to improve the interaction, and also to see things like new technology, new services offerings, and so on. But importantly, when we go back to the ambition to increase production in Nigeria, Python is a key lever for that to happen. So we need services to unlock our potential. We've gone through a period where the quality and quantity of service was lower because of lack of investment and several factors. As we now try to increase our production by unlocking the brownfields and growing the greenfields, we are going to need a broader set of service provider offering, both in depth, both in breadth, both in quantities. And for them to also meet their objectives, they will also be having conversations around what is needed. So potentially financial support, policy enablement, and other areas that would need them to be able to fulfill their roles. So I'm quite excited to be there, because for me, it's a conversation about Nigeria and increasing the production in Nigeria, and service providers as a key stakeholder in that conversation are hosting a conference, and I'm having the opportunity to talk to them about what Heirs Energy stands for, what we have done, that we are the poster child for production growth in Nigeria, and share with them our recent experiences, and also lay on the table for the industry the levers that we all have to unlock in order to achieve the production target that the country aspires for, and that is important to each and every one of us as Nigerians who are shareholders and stakeholders in this entity called Nigeria.
Yeah, I'm sure this is February. I'm sure you've crossed the T's and dot the I's. What's the size of investment in the sector that you're doing this year? Give me an idea.
As you know, we are very aggressive. We are very aggressive production growth oriented business. I think the way I'll let you know is that we are investing significantly more than we did last year. We have overcome the period of oil theft, so we are better assured of returns on our investment. So we are ramping up our investment, and you will see both our investment grow, but more importantly, what will be visible to the public is that our production, both gas and oil, will grow. We talked a lot about oil, but on the gas side, you know that we are one of the major gas suppliers in the eastern part of Nigeria. All the gas we produce goes into the domestic market. It enables power plants, it enables gas-based businesses, and it enables many other businesses who also buy gas from us to resell. So we are growing both our oil and our gas, and the investments to make that happen with our joint venture partner NNPC on our key OMS 17 asset.
All right, great. I'm going to find time to sit down at the SIPEC summit and listen to your presentation. And I think after that, we'd like to have another conversation again. Thank you so much, Osayande Igiehon, the Chief Executive Officer at Heirs Energies, for this Energy Frontiers conversation. Great to see you in the new year. Thank you very much. Hitting the button bright and early in February. Thank you for speaking with us on Frontier Africa Reports. Bye for now.